Well, thank you very much, Professor Yamashiki, for your nice introduction. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'd like to talk on the aging of wood from cultural heritage. This is the outline of our talk. And first is the introduction, and then the second, the collecting the wood samples from cultural heritages, and then the third, identification and characterization of the naturally aged wood, especially on mechanical strength and color changes. And then I'd like to talk on heat treatment as an accelerated aging method. And then after, finally, the application of heat-treated wood to the restoration of the wooden cultural properties. Well, Japan preserves a great amount of the wooden cultural properties and historical buildings, and the precise understanding and the characterization on the aging of wood is of critical importance for their conservation and restorations. And this picture shows the Great Buddha Pavilion located in Nara area, and which is the largest wooden structure in the world at this moment. The original structure was built in 758 AD, and the one we see here at this moment is the one rebuilt 1700 years. The size of this building, pavilion, is about 50 meters in height and 50 meters in depth, and the width is around 57 meters. The one which is original is still bigger than this, which is 86 meters in width, so that the building we see at this moment is a little bit smaller, only 2/3 of the original ones. Looking at the inside the pavilion, we found that they used a column and pillar here in laminating small round logs and timber and bound them by the steel belt. When the time this pavilion was built in 1700, timber resources were not so abundant anymore. According to the old documents, the timber and logs for the original pavilion were transported from Tanakamiyama here, Kyoto area is here, and Nara area is here, where the Todaiji Temple and Great Buddha Pavilion was located. So, Tanakamiyama is actually, at the moment, is well known as Rocky Mountains. However, it was covered with beautiful forests with cypress at the ancient times. We harvested hundreds of logs, 30 meters in length, 1 meter in width, and those timber and round logs were transported downstream to Uji River, upstream to Kizu River, and transported to Nara area. Well, this is the picture of Tanakamiyama in 1918, 100 years ago. And you can see the soil was eroded, and granite layer was degraded by continuous landsliding. It is a typical example, actually, that once deforested, then it is difficult to recover the forest. So anti-erosion work and afforestation was operated in 1918, and the mountain is getting recovered in certain extent by secondary forest. However, even now, the mountain is still rather humble in the forest in pine trees. So human activities sometimes destroys nature seriously, but we also as well conserve plenty of cultural properties instead. Japan is a country of wooden culture, and more than 4,000 historical buildings were registered as cultural heritage, and more than 90% of such buildings were constructed by timber. So proper understanding on the aging of wood is one of the critical important for the conservation and restoration. So here you can see Japan architectural history started at 7th century of Horyuji Temple. Then we have massive of the timber structures. It is also very interesting to work on wood aging because this is a multidisciplinary field of studies relating the wood science and art history, museology, conservation science, and material science and so on. Today, I'd like to introduce the research work we did, the wood aging from the cultural heritage. These pictures show the case of the Kiyomizu-dera Temple, registered on the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage, built in 17th century. Building was taken apart and repairing, involved in the dismounting, and in such a chance, we have obtained samples of the aged wood. This is also one of the samples which we are collecting, the wood sample from historical buildings, Manpukuji Temple. And there was a wooden plate on the roof here of the record, which we could get the precise time when it was built. Species identification, which is also important. And here we found the pine of the roof structure, and a kind of cypress was used in the pillar, and Zelkova wood was used in the interior member. Nishi-Honganji Temple, located in Kyoto area, built in 1636, being restored in 1810. And those of this exchange member was mixed together of those original ones and the time of the restorations. So we started to collect wooden samples from cultural properties and historical buildings for around 25 years under the support of the Agency of the Cultural Affairs of Japan and the collaboration with the related organizations. The more than 600 aged wood samples are identified, the species, and then registered at the Xylarium at the Research Institute for the Sustainable Human Sphere of the Kyoto University, and then described with historical and physical and mechanical properties. One of the most important collection is the sample of the center pillar of the pagoda of Horyuji Temple, built in 7th century here. What you see here is the specimens from Japanese historical buildings, and 8 hinoki samples were selected out of the historical buildings collected in the Xylarium of Rish. Since hinoki is a cypress species, Japanese cypress has been mostly used as a construction materials in Japan. We then characterized the age of wood by using the dendrochronological method, being based on the patterns of the three annual ring. And that is actually we measure the age of the cell formation of the timber. Today, the master chronology patterns have been established for around 3,000 years in Japanese cypress and cedar. This is the results of the age of the wood species from the dendrochronology. These samples from A to G are coming from the oldest temples of Japan, that is Horyuji Temple. And for example, sample A shows the annual rings starting from the year of the 343 AD and ended the year of 434. In order to have a precise dating, samples were cross-checked with radioactive carbon datings. And those are the results we got, the data from dendrochronology here, and radioactive carbon-14 as well. So that those are basically in good accordance with each other, although there are certain differences. For example, here is around 90 years differences at the first annual ring starting. Here, this is the new wood sample harvested in 1988, but these are quite the old tree, which has 366 annual rings in this time. Carbon-14 radioactive carbon-14 result shows a little bit smaller in the age of at the end, but we are basically the very good accordance with each other. Well, this shows the results of the mechanical strengths, typical stress and strain curves, stress and strain curves of the aged wood of the hinoki sample in red line, and the blue one is the control new wood. So strengths, you can see the maximum stress here is still bigger in the old wood, and the rigidity, that is the slope of the linear region of this curve, is also higher in older trees, wood samples. However, the toughness here is rather brittle in older age trees. So there is certain, you see, differences depending on what kind of the element of the strength mechanical properties you are going to take. Here, I show you the bending strength of the aged wood depending on the time elapsed through the 1500 years, together with those data from the Professor Kohara in the red plotted from Horyuji, Byodo-in. Renge-o-in is Sanju Sangendo, and Kodaiji and Mininaji, different type. You see the temples. Those are samples from taken from the different, you see, temples. And those blue ones are the data we got by ourselves. So strength, bending strength, shows basically doesn't change so much over the 1500 years old. So wood is actually quite durable. It can last around 1500 years and more. So this is the picture of the toughness. Instead, the toughness is going to decrease when the time of the elapsed has been increased. So as a summary of the mechanical properties, aging effect was not basically observed in strength, rigidity, but toughness is going to decrease. This picture shows the effect of heat treatment on the toughness. Heat treatment is actually the new control wood has been treated in oven at around 180 degrees Celsius for up to 120 hours. So very short period of the treatment of heat with higher temperature. Then we can get this very similar trend of the decrease of the toughness like the one of the aged wood here. And also you can see the color is getting darker and yellowish when the heating was done and getting longer. So naturally aged samples and heat treated samples together, we can see here the number one is the control harvested in 1988. Could you see which is which? Which one is the heated ones and aged samples in number 2 and number 3? The color of these two samples are very similar, and these two, another sample, quite also similar as well. We can see the number 2 is the naturally aged samples, and number 3 is the heat-treated samples. Number 2 here is the aged sample for about 750 years, and this darker one is around 1600 years. Heat-treated samples, if you see here, at 180 degrees Celsius for 2 hours, and then this one is 12 hours. So the time span was very different with each other, but they behave very similar, you see, change of the color. So in order to check the color precisely, we can use the spectrophotometer and measure the syrup color values such as lightness, white and black, red and green A star, and B star is the yellow and blue. Delta E is the color difference, and which is actually the average of these three elements, lightness, red, and yellow. This is the result of the delta E based on Arrhenius plot. Here you can see the 90 degrees Celsius heat treatment, 120, 150, 190 in the various heating time. You can see here the aged wood as well here, so that the color values changes quite faster with increasing the temperature and aging time in systematic order. We found the color change both in natural aging and heat treatment can be explained as the same mechanism, and that is the thermal oxidation, which means the color changes actually obeys Arrhenius law. This can be proved as well by the heat treatment of wood sample F aged for around 900 years. Those are the heat-treated samples with different, treating time, and those are the aged one. We took some samples, number F, which has already lasted for around 900 years, then heat-treated on this sample. Then the color changes started from the initial one, aged 800 years, and then going darker and darker as well. So those results shows that the color changes of heat-treated wood and aged wood obeys Arrhenius law, so that we can control the color of wood by the heating time and heating temperature. So the application of the heat-treated wood to the restoration of the wood Buddha image, for example. This is the manufactured at 8th to 9th century. The part of the curly hair we call rahotsu here were restored by the heat treatment, heat-treated wood, and the color was adjusted by proper heating temperature and the time, here like this. Well, another example of the application, since paper was made of plant fibers, and the main component is cellulose, the same main components as wood. So therefore, we can control the color of the paper as well by heat treatment. Color of the paper is getting darker and more yellow by longer heating time and heating temperature. This is the case of the temperature at 180 degrees Celsius. And this is the control, the original color of the paper. Then here, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours. 8 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours, and 48 hours. So color of the paper getting darker and darker, you can understand. And also, at the same time, during such a heat treatment, adhesives are also degraded as well. So carbon ink has run and spread by the heat treatment. So under the collaboration with the famous calligrapher, Mr. Guisako, we found it best in the treatment of 8 hours with 180 degrees Celsius treatment, both in color and paper, and the penetration of the carbon ink from authentic point of view. Well, I'd like to express my appreciation to those researchers from various fields of the sciences, humanities, and arts, and the Buddhist image sculpture and calligraphers. Well, thank you very much for your kind attention.